Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casual KO. We're here. I'm coming at you from Dagestan, Russia. We were just bombed actually by Ukraine. Did you guys hear about that? That fucking Dagestan was bombed by Ukraine. Kind of
No,
fucked up. Yeah, it was supposedly one of the locations that they bombed, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a spot that you want to be bombing. I don't think that's a scary place to mess around with. But yeah, I did lose the bet. I had the best picks out of all of us, though. I went 9-2. You guys went 7-4 from the record. So, I'm happy with how I did. I will shave the mustache because this thing will be back. I shaved it this morning, and this will be back pretty pretty fully by Thursday. So I'm okay with this. My shit grows pretty quick. And yeah, I mean, we'll have to deal with it. You take some, you win some, you lose some, get a good look. I don't think it's that bad, I don't look like some of these guys out there that run this look and they just shouldn't run it, right? So, you know, I'll
you
take it.
look good, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, I am drinking, which is something that's very haram. Wait, no. Is haram good or bad? Haram's forbidden, right?
Think so.
You should
Yeah,
know. Didn't you go over to the fucking Middle East?
yeah. I'm not a Muslim, bro.
But you didn't learn about the culture?
No,
Oh, well, I guess I'm the asshole. I should have known that. But yeah, fun weekend that we're coming off of. Alex went all in on Bobby Knuckles, shooting videos. Was that your mom, Alex?
Yeah, she's a diehard UFC fan and had to make a little video. I sent it all to my Snapchat friends, but I thought it'd be a good little video clip to add afterwards because she's pretty good. She's been good over the years, you know? She's a solid capper. She's better than me.
I like it. Well, big shout out to mom. She nailed it. I think that it would have been a much closer fight and it would have been a lot better if Ikram didn't have to do all the runaround, but I still did believe in him. I still thought that he would do it, so it's no excuse. But kind of a weird situation if you think about it. I'd like to see that fight in the future. I think that Ikram will probably win the rest of his fights up until he gets around to that level. So yeah, good looks on you and your mom for both picking that side. It just made sense in hindsight. It's always 2020, as they say. 'Cause Robert Whitaker doesn't fucking knock anyone out ever. And he, made it look easy. So good on him. And supposedly he also had a last minute surgery before he flew out to Saudi as well. So both those guys kind of fighting with some disadvantages there.
I heard
But
it was on, what was it on too? It never they never really gave out too many details. Was it on his head?
I don't know, man. I didn't hear anything specific, but it's never ideal when you're having a surgery at all, whether it's something major or minor, it doesn't really matter. In my book, it's still a bit of a disadvantage, I would say. So, it is what it is, but had a great night. I nailed the Volkov pick, so did Jared. We'll highlight a couple great picks that we had throughout the week. I nailed the Muin Gafrov pick. Both you guys were on Kong. We were all on Muin Naimov. How about that motherfucker? I forget his name. That little Brazilian kid. What was
Lima.
his name?
Yeah, Felipe Lima.
Great fucking like just killer, man. All you need to tell him is think about your mom, and then he goes out there and fucking kills these dudes. So yeah, a big shout out to him. Um, do you guys think that our boy Jared Gordon got robbed against Nazrat?
I thought
Yeah,
so. I
We were
thought
all
so.
on Nazrat too, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
I was about to throw away my slip, but I'll take it.
Me too, man. I had the Rhino bet, and it was looking great up until fucking Ikram. My brother shit the bed, dude. But Shara, Shara Bullet, not impressed, man. I think that dude fucking sucks. I don't know what you guys think of him, but I think that dude sucked. They're trying to prop him up, and they gave him a performance of the night bonus, which I do not understand. He did not look good against a guy that had to fly there with 2 days' notice, and everyone universally thinks that Tricoli is bad. So bad look for Shara. I don't know what you think. What do you think of that one, Jared?
Um, well, it kind of reiterated everything I already thought about him. He's a great striker and he can't grapple. Like it's just non-existent. He's like the only Dagestani dude that can't stuff a takedown or get a takedown on his own. Um, he's overhyped. It was one of these matchups that it was a tune-up fight for him. It was one of those clear setup fights. But I thought it was fucking bullshit that he gets a performance of the night bonus when
Lima.
Jared Gordon and Nazareth didn't even get the fight of the night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, who got
You
the
know what
fight of
I
the
mean?
night?
No one. They just gave out 4 performance bonuses. They didn't even give out a fight of the night.
I think the UFC doesn't like Jared Gordon, man. Honestly, just because the way that they handled the Patty Pimblett thing, and then they kept trying to give him matchups where he would lose. I don't think they like Gordon for whatever reason, which is
Yeah,
weird.
they're not doing him any favors with the judges or the matchups. But I mean,
Yeah,
he's a good fighter, man. He fought a really good fight. I thought he did enough to win.
me too. But I'm glad that he did not. I guess really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So I kind of wish that he would have won, but we all were on Nasrat. And you might have thought that I would have forgotten this, but I was the only one on No Time. No Time Volkan Oezdemir. You guys both had who Alex calls my boy.
I ended up switching my pick, and I threw him round one in a couple slips, and
Yeah.
one was really close, but he made it look easy, just after looking at it and seeing the Connor thing was kind of a red flag too.
What's the Connor thing that you're referring to there?
Him pulling out near his card, and that's kind of just like a morale decrease for the whole team at SGP. You know what I mean? So, and he's just what else I looked at? I was like, Volkan really needs to show up to his nickname no time. And I think this was finally the fight. He solidified his nickname.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he looked good, man. He looked pretty good out there, but you got to kind of feel for Johnny Walker to an extent, man, because I do like the guy. I think he's kind of cool. I think he's a lot cooler than his brother, but he's always trying to go out there and like be entertaining and shit. But this guy just gets the goofiest, funny looking knockouts, man. It's kind of
It's a
sad.
jobber at this point.
Yeah, man. I would hate to be that guy though, where every time I get knocked out, it's just funny to people, So, but I mean, he's getting a lot more money than I am, having fucking fun. So, power to him. But anything else you guys want to get into before we roll into the card here? Make sure that you watch the video on Profit Picks YouTube. I don't know, Jared runs the Teep Picks page. He gives out free picks. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say. Alex, did you really want to plug that guy that's supposedly going to be a millionaire in 7 years or something?
Yeah, I mean, like for daily picks, like if I'm just looking for some action one day, I'll go on his page, tail what he's doing. He's been making me money doing solid. It's volume bets on Instagram. Started with $1 bankroll, and now he's at $135 around there. And yeah, he's been doing it for 2 years, and I did some of the math, and in 5 to 7 years, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he will have the $1 million. So, I'm kind of on the bandwagon here.
Yeah, in 5 to 7 years, $1 million is probably going to be worth about $30, with the way that we're going with this war. But we'll see. We'll see. No, yeah, in all honesty, it's a cool gimmick. So if you believe in it, Alex, I'll have to, check it out a little bit more. But I was just hearing his numbers, man, and off of $134, he's talking like 40 cents profit and $1.20 profit, and yeah, that's sustainable over time. But at that point, you might as well just invest your money in some crypto or something. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at. So you are a believer in this, huh? Yeah. Okay.
I
I
mean,
will never tail a guy that's only giving out 40-cent bets.
look what he did to the bankroll already. Turned $1 into 135. That's impressive enough, you know.
Hitting
And it's
50% is
trackable.
not that impressive. I'm not trying to hate on the dude. I think it's a cool concept that,
It
you know what I
shows you
mean?
what
He's putting shit out
52%
there.
does over a long period of time. If you're hitting at 52%, you'll be able to build your bankroll consistently.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess all that. I mean, he's probably not taking any kind of flyers or anything like that. He's probably doing pretty conservative bets. But yeah, you never know. The dude could really do it. I will say I don't believe in that concept as of right now, but I haven't looked into it much. I just saw what Alex sent and I was like, this seems like it's not much. But Alex is the professional here, so I'll take your word for it, dude. I'll look into it a little more, see what he's up to. MMA clown show as well. You guys like that shit, huh?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I really enjoyed him roasting all the cappers who gave out Ikram this week, and I just think he's pretty entertaining, and finally someone to put all these guys, accountable,
I'm
for
on
their
blast.
charging so much for picks that lose. You know what I mean? Over here, if you work with anyone over here, our service pays for itself. You never pay out of pocket to work with us, and yeah, well, we have no problem giving you free picks and free winners for a lifetime. It's just if you want the hassle of working with us, having our phone number, you know, that's just got to be a small fee a month.
Yeah. No, it is funny because like the We Want Picks guys, I actually really like listening to them. I think that they're funny and they're entertaining. It's kind of cool. Like after I'm still kind of excited about the night previous on Saturday night, enjoyed watching some fights, usually having a good time, usually profitable, very little profit lately over like the bigger nights that I've had in the past. But it's fun to go right in from that to the next day. Maybe you're waking up, you're getting ready, you're getting about to do whatever the fuck you do on Sunday, and you're just listening to this dude talk about the next card because they're on it. They do it the very next day, and it's fun. That's what I like about them. I would never pay for a gambling suggestion show, though. That's what I will say. So anyone doing that, I think, is kind of dumb. Those guys do make $30,000 a month off of people that are subscribed to them, so they're doing something right, man. Like at the end of the day. But yeah, Clown Show is pretty funny. I just wish, if he's listening, don't laugh so goddamn loud into the microphone. You can emphasize that something's
Just
funny
tone it down, man.
a
Just a
little
little
bit.
bit. The screaming is a bit much.
Yeah, and maybe show your face. I think that would be a good move because, no one's gonna fuck with you. Just unless you're like obese or something, then maybe people are gonna laugh at you. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Good show though, fun, entertaining. Let's roll right into these picks. I'm going to go ahead and just give myself this starting position because I did go 9-2. Okay. And I had to shave my fucking mustache. So if either of you guys got a problem with that, uh, you know, I don't know what to say. But let's go. First fight of the night. I think this is a great matchup, pretty cool. And I'm actually really interested what both you guys think about it. Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira. Got a power puncher versus kind of a lame, like I don't know, lame prey is kind of a weird way to say it, but a blanket kind of wrestler. But Simone's got some power, in my opinion. I think that he's kind of underrated in the power department. And this is a tough one to pick for me personally when I was looking at this. I am on the Simone side because I think that his experience is just so much more than Oliveira's, even though they are 20-5 and 20-3 respectively. Um, Oliveira fighting in regional promotions. He's been finished twice. I think he's kind of like one of these live by the sword, die by the sword type fighters, but he goes out there and he puts on a show and he can really crack, dude. This dude hits hard. Simone's been knocked out in at least one of his two last losses. Yeah, against Song Yadong. Um, that was late too. I think it was in the fourth round, if I'm not mistaken. And interesting matchup. When Vinicius Oliveira got signed on Dana White's Contender Series, Dana said this is a guy that he can throw right into the mix, and he's doing that right now. So obviously, Dana White and the UFC brass believe in Oliveira. Simone, not very exciting to watch right now because he's on this two-fight skid, but I can't see him losing three in a row. He could obviously, but yeah, give me Simone, and I think that he might do this by decision. Um, but there is that chance that Oliveira cracks Simone early, like round one, round two. Oliveira does gas. Simone is a cardio machine. He can outwork fucking Marab, as he showed when they fought. So the longer this goes, I favor Simone, but there is that off chance that Oliveira gets that round one, sub 1 minute fucking knockout. But yeah, give me Simone decision, man. Alex, what do you have here, man?
I'm with you. I like Ricky. I'm gonna go with a different method. The thing is that I'm more confident on betting the no distance in this fight. It's not often they put a Ricky Simone fight at minus money to go no distance for his fights. If you check the history. So I think there's gonna be violence in this fight. I think he can get finished in the first round. I think Ricky has to implement the wrestling to get Oliveira tired. and then we could see him get a finish. I think he can get a knockout or a sub, round two, maybe late round one. So I'm gonna go with Ricky gets a KO round two. It's gonna look scary in round one because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be dropping any money until he survives round one. I'd be looking at a live bet spot on Ricky Simone here, but pretty confident he should get it done and gatekeep Oliveira here.
You're saying KO round two?
Yes, KO round two.
All right. Yeah, he does have underrated power, man. He being Simone. He's got I think it's fairly even on the feet, and the ground difference is just so crazy with that Sapage fight. Sapage almost won that fight, man, if he didn't get fucking caught. But Jared, I'm interested in your thoughts here.
Well, looks like Oliveira is going to win because I'm with you guys on Ricky Simone. So,
Well, he's not a dog.
yeah, first fight of the night, though. We're all on the same side.
Okay. Well,
Actually, we would have hit it last week, though, but you switched your pick when we were both on Lee.
that's
But
true.
whatever.
That's
Either
true.
way, fucking now I'm concerned because both of you guys are on Simone, but I think he can get it done, man. He's really got to push the wrestling. I'd say cardio is one of his best weapons, and he just knows how to push that real wrestle heavy pace where he's just smothering. He's just an exhausting guy to be in there with, and he's good positionally. Like once he gets you down, it's a rough go trying to get back up. He's really good on top and knowing how to keep those positions. You could see in Oliveira's debut, that takedown defense, it needs work because Sopage got him down at least two or three times. Granted, Oliveira was able to find his way back to his feet, but against a guy like Simone, I think he's going to have a lot harder of a time doing that. I mean, on his feet, though, Oliveira, this dude is dangerous. I mean, you look at his contender series fight and you look at his debut. I mean, they were both brutal knockouts. This is a dude that wants to strike. He wants to stay on his feet. He stands like really straight up and he throws a lot of kicks. Uh, I think those kicks get him in trouble because if you keep throwing body kicks at Simone, it's a matter of time until he catches one of those and puts you on your back. It kind of seems like both guys' strengths are the other guy's weakness, but I think Simone's just a more proven guy. He's had the higher level experience, so yeah, I have to side with him here. So I'm going to say Ricky Simone takes a decision win.
Okay, now who's going to be the 1-2 switch so that we can actually hit this bet? Alex or Jared? I did it last week. Which one of you guys is
I'm
going to formally on the record say that you're picking Oliveira? One of you
locked
guys.
in. I can't switch.
Alex, is it you then? It's not me. We're going to lose this if one of you guys don't fucking switch.
We'll
You
all
don't
stick
have to make
together.
the actual bet. Huh?
We're all just stick together. It's not a big deal.
It's a huge deal. We're going to lose this now. Great.
Win together, lose together.
I fucking jumped on the grenade last week, and neither one of you guys will do that this week. That's great. That's great. Okay, second fight of the night. Jared, Carlos Hernandez versus Tsuruya.
Tsuruya, you
I
nailed it.
think. I think I'm having a stroke when I say a name like that. But yeah, dude, Tsuruya, who do you think between these two?
Yeah, so I saw the line on this fight, and I'm like, a guy making his debut at like minus 400. I'm like, I got to see what's up with this dude. Uh, when I see him, I just think speed. Like this guy is really, really fast. He closes distance really quick. Uh, I pretty much think it's a guarantee he's going to be shooting a takedown within the first 30 seconds. When he's on his feet, he keeps his hands low and he just tries to have those really fast entries and just try to get to the hips, try to get a takedown. And when he's on the ground, man, his grappling is really, really slick. He's good at keeping those dominant positions if he's against a guy that's really scrambly. But one thing I noticed with him, and it was in his road to UFC fight. I forget which guy it was, but it was the one that went the distance. Uh, when he's on his feet, he loads up a lot, and you can just kind of see he's not super comfortable on his feet. He actually got clipped a couple times and got dropped in that fight. I mean, he's a really, really good grappler, but I really think he needs those takedowns if he's going to get a win. Because when he's on his feet, it's not like he's lost, but you can tell that's not where he's the most comfortable. Carlos Hernandez, of course, this is a dude that all of his losses is him struggling against grapplers. And it's not that he's clueless on the ground. Like the dude can create scrambles. He tries not to accept positions. He's a dog, man. The dude, he's always, always working. I like him on the feet. He's got crisp boxing. He gets that jab going early. I like the footwork. He has good lateral movement. He knows how to get out of the way. it's just the big problem is that this guy is what this guy does best is what Hernandez does the worst. So it's a tough call here, but Tsuruya at minus 400 making his debut, and I think this dude needs takedowns to win. I think if Hernandez can create the scrambles he needs to create, he can keep this on the feet, and I think as long as it's on the feet, he should be winning. So realistically, Tsuruya is probably going to submit him, but I'm going to take a shot on Carlos Hernandez here. I like the dude. I think he's a tough dude, good fighter. He's just had some rough matchups. So I'm going to say Hernandez can squeeze out a sweaty decision.
Dude, it's crazy that you say it like that. I want to hear what Alex says, but don't forget about this Denise Bondar fight. That was a
That was
really,
fucking vicious, bro.
it
That
was
knockout.
crazy. And the way that he fought in that fight was great. And you're talking about the lack of grappling prowess or whatever, but he's got a wrestling base, if I'm not mistaken. I think that that's where he started was with wrestling. Now grappling and wrestling is different. But yeah, he's a tough Mexican dude that he was talking about how that was a perfect, how he knocked the dude out, how he knocked Bondar out was he kind of hit him with the shoulder on the way down. And then he was saying it was like a perfect hip toss or some shit in wrestling. So it was just a textbook kind of thing that he did. And the ref kind of gave him a shitty end of the deal there. But Alex, what do you think about this fight?
I've been thinking along the line same as Jared. I think it's just strange that he's fighting another Japanese guy, who also trains with his last opponent, Tatsuro. So I thought that was very strange because he might come in here, either scared or maybe even with a chip on his shoulder, like, hey, I'm gonna get revenge against that camp that just finished me in the last fight. But, after doing tape, I think we could see a lot of Tatsura having a lot of control time. Kind of similar to what Tyra did to Hernandez in round one. I'm scared that we could see, 3 rounds of that. But this guy is just so aggressive. He will give up every single position to go for any submission possible. Leg locks, arm bars, triangles. This guy is super aggressive. And, Hernandez actually is underrated in the scrambling. You've seen him scramble pretty nice in round one, even though he ended up on his back. But he's facing a lesser version of Tyra, in my opinion, and it's almost the same odds. There's definitely value on him. He's gonna do well on the feet because Tsura is very hesitant on the feet. Like Jared said, he's super uncomfortable, super green on the feet, but he swings super hard. But I would go with like a double method here, maybe Tsuro sub, and maybe like Hernandez decision because the kid's super tough. Um, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go along with Jared and go Hernandez decision, but this is a fight that I would probably stay away from, guys, because a lot's up in the air.
Yeah, I'm wanting to go with the same exact thing as you guys too, but the thing that I keep thinking about is that Denise Bondar is really not as good as maybe he looked in that fight. Right? He looked really fucking good. And I remember when Bondar, I got to go back on Tapology and look here who he was going to fight after that. Bondar faced Ronaldo Rodriguez, who came over from Lux Fight League. And just didn't look too impressive. He did lose on the Contender Series, and I mean he lost a unanimous decision to Jerome Rivera, who I can't even think of what Jerome Rivera looks like. Jerome Rivera is 10-6. I don't even know if he made it to the UFC after that. Yeah, he did. He's 0-4 though. So I don't know, just the level of competition for Hernandez is not too impressive. And I think I'm seeing this go on with multiple promotions. BKFC is trying to promote Japanese fighters big time right now. They teamed up with Ryzen. UFC just signed a massive Japanese guy. I forget his name, but they're trying to make this Japanese push because the Chinese fighters that they're trying to bring in that are new are not very good. The Korean fighters that they're trying to bring in are not very good. They're trying to get into that Asian market. As like racist as it might sound, which it's not my intention, but like these people like rooting for people that look like them. That's what it is. Like that's the same for a lot of fucking people, man. People like rooting for their countries. nationalism, all this different stuff, right? So I think that they want this Japanese kid to win, and I'm not gonna bet anything too crazy, but I think a round one sub is very live here for Tsuruya, and that's what I'm
Very
gonna
live.
take. I'm gonna take that Ray Tsuruya sub round one. But I don't think you guys are crazy at all because Hernandez has looked tough as shit and aggressive and mean. And this 22-year-old kid might have never seen anything like this guy before, even though his teammate has been in there with him. So you guys aren't crazy for taking that Hernandez decision. But I think I'm going to go with what the UFC wants here in Ray Saruya in a dominant fashion, coming by submission in round one.
I'd say that's probably the most likely outcome to actually happen. But yeah, man, I take a shot on the dog here. Dude's just too tough, you know.
Right, right. And yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, a sub round two is also very realistic, but Surya Gas is quick. You know, he's gonna get tired, and Hernandez is not. So sorry to do this to you, Alex. You're taking this next fight of the night. I'm sorry, Andre Arlovski versus Martin Booty. Who do you got in this one, man? Fun fight, huh? Fight of the night, possibly. And possibly Arlovski's retirement fight.
One thing, I got the over here. That over 1.5 at -300 is looking like a solid bet right now. But
Okay.
I guess you just gotta trust the judges will give it to the right guy here. You know, who's gonna have the volume, who's gonna be moving forward. It's gonna be Buday. As much as we wanna, we're all gonna be rooting for Arlovski. 45 years old, he could probably still win another one. I just don't think he's gonna have the volume to beat Buday. I think you got to be a little bit tougher to get this guy knocked out. But it would be awesome to see Arlovski knock this guy out. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, but I think this might be the end of the road for him, sadly. And I think Buday just walks him down, outworks him, and wins a decision.
Yeah, it needs to be the end of the road for him, man. He could probably do some other stuff, you know. He could, I mean, this dude could act. I've seen Tim Sylvia in movies before. Seen a movie called Oxymorons. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's great. It's all about Oxycontin dealers. And yeah, he's in there. He's like the muscle for these fucking dirtbag dealers. It's pretty funny. But yeah, not a bad pick at all. I'm on the same side. You said Boudet decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, It makes sense, man, that because Boudet has such bad fight IQ. If he goes in there and he actually wrestles with Arlovski, he could look like a massive favorite, I would think. But he might just go out there and hide behind a jab. And I don't know if the judges are going to give it to Arlovski to send him off, or if we're going to see something like a potential Robbie Lawler situation where Arlovski finds that power again and knocks this dude out in a minute, right? It's really tough to say, but I gotta side with the youth. And I mean, Andre Arlovski was my favorite fighter when I was a kid, first watching UFC, and I also like Tito Ortiz because he was funny to me. And now realizing that I like Tito Ortiz as a kid, I'm like, man, it's a bad fighter to like. You know, Tito Ortiz is pretty whack, but watching his fights with Ken Shamrock were pretty dope. Same with Andre Arlovski and Tim Sylvia. You used to download them on LimeWire, and you could just watch those over and over again. Um, man, yeah, give me a Boudet decision. I think it's probably pretty boring. He could get the knockout, but probably a boring decision, man. Three decisions in a row for at least for some of us. But yeah, we'll see. But Alex and I agreeing here. Jared, what do you got?
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, Buday is just like one of these guys that just like is, I don't know, he just looks out of shape. You see him fight, it's like nothing ever jumps out at you. But he just keeps finding ways to win. I mean, he's beating guys that aren't that great, and now he's fighting a 45-year-old Arlovski. I think, especially after that Don'Tale Mayes fight, it's safe to say Arlovski's washed. Uh, yeah, fight probably doesn't really require a ton of thought, but yeah, you know what? I'm taking Arlovski for pure nostalgic purposes. Why not take a shot on Arlovski here? I'm going to say he can squeeze out a decision, maybe even a robbery. But yeah, fuck it, dude. Arlovski, why not?
You'll do this, but you wouldn't dive on the Vinicius Oliveira grenade for us.
No, because I already have fucking Simone in a play. So what kind of
So
guy
do
am I
I.
if I go back on my own play?
It's just
All right.
for the
So
show.
we're both out. All right. Well, what about the odd man out, Alex? You're the only you got some on the play over there?
That's true.
Because we're all here giving parlays, and Alex will give you a fucking straight bet.
A favorite. No, he's saying no. Okay. All right. So we're all on decision. And I think like what Alex led with here is yeah, that over 1.5, over 2.5, that's something you can slam probably. But yeah, rough. Now, this next fight of the night, ladies going at it. Our very own Alex from Profit Picks is taking on Michelle Waterson Gomez. Uh, he's going to be out there. I think he's going to really give her hell here. He's wearing a wig. He's throwing on that red wig, and he's going to fucking beat some ass. I'm actually on Alex here. I'm on Jillian Robertson. I think that the line closed big time though. Um, this was I think she opened up at like a -3 or 400, and it's crashed down to almost fairly like bettable plays here. And the look that the public is giving is that the karate hottie is going to be able to uh defend takedowns. But Jillian Robertson's pretty like repetitive and I wouldn't say vicious with takedowns or whatever, but she'll chain them together. She'll continue to go for takedowns. Her takedown accuracy is not the highest, but it's because she goes for them over and over again. And I think that a 38-year-old Waterson Gomez can fade fairly quickly. Excuse me. Um, you guys know I don't like betting on Canada, but I think in this situation, I think it just makes sense. Legitimately, probably one of the more dangerous on the ground. Actually, factually, the most dangerous on the ground woman in the strawweight division in Jillian Robertson. I think she gets it done here, and I think it probably a later submission, round two, round three. I'll go round three just to spice it up. But yeah, Waterson Gomez, man, she hasn't looked good. She's losing to people like Pauliana Viana. Marina Rodriguez took her down, I think, twice, or maybe once. I don't know, but yeah, that's not something that should happen. Luana Pinheiro, who she's the only person in the history of the world that got finished by Angela Hill in her last fight. I mean, she's losing to bad fighters. Amanda Lemos, that's not a bad loss at all. But Jillian Robertson's actually like going toe to toe with some decent fighters. Tabitha Ricci, she lost a decision to. Piera Rodriguez, who kind of retarded. She lost her last head fight by a headbutt. I think it's interesting that it's a good matchup. And Michelle Waterson might retire after this too, I've heard. So interesting fight. I am on our buddy Alex here by submission round three. Jared, what do you got?
I was thinking this is actually a fairly winnable fight for Michelle Waterson, but it's like I just can't remember the last time she looked good in there. I mean, well, she always looks good, but looking
Yeah.
good in a fight, I mean, it's just been a while. And then, I hate to judge somebody off their last fight, but that image at the end of her last fight, I mean, left on her hands and knees, hysterically crying. I mean, that was a real bad look. And how do you get behind that? Coming into this at 38 years old, it's just I don't know. She used to be pretty decent everywhere, but it seems like times has kind of caught up with her. Uh, I think Alex has really improved his striking since he joined Goat Shed, but it's still not great. He still wants the shit on the ground. He's got a good strength of schedule. Alex wants it on the ground. I'm taking Alex round two submission. I think he gets it done.
I like it. Yeah, round two. Training out of the goat shed as well, which is strange. But Alex, what do you got here, dude?
I was back and forth with this one, to be honest. This isn't one I'm rushing into the book to bet. I kind of like a double method on this. I'd go Robertson sub, maybe Waterson decision. Because if this is stand up for 3 rounds, I just think Michelle's gonna outpoint her. She's gonna be working more, higher volume, trust her on the feet a little bit,
Right.
and you know, I think she could style her on the feet a little bit. So it's hard to trust Robertson to get these takedowns. And another thing is she's not scared to go on her back. Waterson could get some takedowns here and waste clock. And I'm scared of that as well, but I'm gonna go with Robertson round one sub. Not super confident on this, but I think she is the one that's improving, who's the bigger girl as well. and I think she's gonna get her down in the first round because she's honestly been getting takedowns lately.
You're saying Robertson's been getting takedowns?
Yes, I want to say she's gotten one in her past. Like almost every single one of her fights, she's been getting a takedown.
Well, yeah, she's relentless with them. And what's interesting too is that Waterson will go for takedowns too. And I'm just wondering like if Robertson could catch Robertson can catch Waterson. That's fucking crazy. I just realized that right now. Can catch Waterson in a guillotine or something like that with the takedowns because she goes by Karate Hottie, but she wrestles a lot for someone that has karate in their nickname. It's like that Neto BJJ dude that never uses BJJ, right? So I don't know. It's interesting. Good matchup. We're all on Alex here. Go and bring home that fucking W, dude. I don't know if you remember that joke, Alex, but I said that she looks like you in a wig one time because everyone says that she was hot, and I was like, she's not. She just looks like a dude, kind of. Um, but yeah, we'll skip this one. I mean, we can all just run around. I'd hate to give Jared because back to Jared right now. I don't want to give Jared this and just be like, yeah, this is your hot take. Uh, Peyton Talbott versus Giannis Ghemmouri. I'm on Peyton Talbott. He's going to probably close as potentially the biggest favorite ever. So yeah, Peyton Talbot for me, but Giannis Ghemmouri is kind of being overlooked here just a tad because he got nut shot TKO'd by Gomi. But what do you got in this one, Jared? Real quick.
Yeah, it's Peyton Talbot, round one knockout. I'm overlooking Giannis here. I just, it's one of these setup fights. Talbot, true prospect. UFC likes him. I like him. I think everyone likes him.
Yeah, he's great.
Fast, accurate, dynamic. Dude's got it all. I think he's the full package. So say Talbot gets it done round one.
I do have him knock out round two, just because everyone, with the exception of Simon's actually like one of the guys that he finished the quickest. And if you think that Talbot's great, you should look at his mom. His mom is like one of the hottest women alive. I don't know if you've seen her. She's like a bodybuilding, but it's not like gross. It's like
Ryan
perfect
likes the
level.
muscle mommies.
No, it's not even like that. It's just like it's like the perfect level. She's very attractive. And yeah, so Alex, what round and method do you have Talbot in?
I'm gonna go with round one, but I'm gonna go with the sub.
Okay.
There's no value on this fight though. You can't even take him inside the distance. He's minus 600, so you really got to take him just round one at even odds, which is always scary to take.
Yeah, there were some people that were early on this and they got him at minus 400. And those people, I mean, shout out to those guys. They could cash out that bet right now and probably profit about 90% of that. But I know a lot of people that have parlay. Not, I don't know them personally, but I've heard of people taking parlays and stuff with Talbot as an anchor, but they closed these about a month ago. And that's looking real nice right now if that parlay is still alive. But Jared, you will take this one. This is a great matchup, I think. Charles Jourdain versus a guy that's actually admitted to being possessed by a demon in Gene Silva. I don't know if you've heard him talking about that. He
Nope.
says there is an alter ego that, did you see him walk out there when he was walking in slow motion?
Yeah,
Took like
it's like
10
the
minutes to
longest
walk out to
walkout
the ring.
ever.
Yeah. So he says that there is that there's a something inside of him that kind of takes over and he doesn't really know and he has a name for it and all this shit. Yeah, so Gene Silva is possessed and his nickname is the Lord Assassin. So kind of strange, but we'll let you lead with this.
What a what a weird thing you just pointed out there. Sorry, I was a little distracted checking out Peyton Talbot's mom.
She's
All
pretty
right.
hot, right?
Yeah, she is. She's like she's like if Angela Hill got really hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I did not know this guy thinks he's possessed. He's fucking weird. That is very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still have a lot of question marks about him. You look at his debut. I mean, I know Weston Wilson just beat Jekka, but Jekka's a road to UFC guy. He's not that good. I think Weston Wilson's a can. So Silva's debut, he got the crush a can, got to do whatever he felt like doing to Wilson. You know, he was kind of hunting for a highlight once he realized how bad this dude sucks. But I've seen he got big power. You know, the dude really tends to just kind of headhunt and look for the big knockout. but he's taken a very, very big step up here in his second UFC fight. I
Yeah.
mean, I know you hate on the Canadians, but I like Charles Jourdain, man. He's got that. He's boxing heavy. He's got fast hands, good cardio. A guy that I think got that dog in him, and I like him. I think if he's going to win this fight, he's just going to really have to. He might have to weather an early storm from Silva, but he's just got to kind of push a heavy pace, stay in his face, and just don't give him any room to breathe. And I think Jourdain could just kind of overwhelm him here. And if Silva wants to start shooting takedowns, Jourdain's got a dangerous submission game, so that could be a mistake on Silva's end. I just see this, maybe Silva looks good early, but I think it's going to be one of these ones where Jourdain can just kind of outdog him. So I'm going to say Charles Jourdain by decision.
Okay. Yeah. Don't pin all the Canadian hate on me. I specifically remember talking with you. I think it was Friday. We were texting, and you were like, "It's crazy that two pussy countries like Canada and France can be connected." You know,
Yeah.
so it's not just me. So,
Oh no,
uh,
but I don't hate them the same way you hate them with that burning passion. And you were right to hate them on that last Canadian card.
yeah, no, I don't I actually love the people. The people are great. But you don't want nice like we talked about this actually where like Indians are nice people too, but not good fighters, right? Like you kind of need some assholes. Like that's why Russia's so good. And that's why United States produces some good. They produce the most fighters in the UFC, but it's a United States based organization. But Brazil, I mean, bad people living in Brazil. United States, bad people living here. Same with Russia. Like these are the places, Australia, tough dudes, not necessarily bad people, but tough dudes. So yeah, these overwhelmingly nice countries don't produce very strong fighters. But yeah, Jourdain could be an exception. Now I forgot what method and round did you say you had Jourdain by?
Decision.
Jourdain decision. Alex, what do you think about this? While you're going, I'm going to shut my window.
I think this is a barn burner, actually. I think they both got the matchup they want, which is, a striker. And I think we're gonna see. Uh, I think we're gonna see someone get knocked out here, and it's gonna be hard to pick a side here. I think Silva hits a little bit harder. He can mix it up with the takedowns, as we've seen in the past, and Charles definitely has the BJJ advantage here. So, this is a tough one. I'm gonna be staying away from. Definitely like the no distance here. But I'll go against the grain here. I'll say Silva gets a round 2 knockout.
Wow, round two, huh? That's interesting. For me, I would think it would be like round one, but you got to think too, Silva got like that late round one knockout over
He
Weston
doesn't have
Wilson.
bad cardio. I mean, it's
Well,
not
and he's
like
fighting with that. I don't know if you mentioned it when I stepped away, but that fighting nerds gym, they come up with great game plans, like they're really good at that. So you wouldn't be surprised if Silva goes to some takedowns or whatever. I don't think that the Silva pick's a bad pick at all. I know a lot of people are on Jourdain, and I am so tempted to pick Silva too because of my opinion of Canadian fighters. But I think Jourdain, he's got a lot more octagon time in the UFC than Silva, like a lot. I mean, this guy grew up in the UFC essentially, fighting good fighters. And that last loss against Sean Woodson, I mean, we all hate on the dude, but he's fucking good. He's really good. And the reason that he's good is because of that weird alien body. But he's that's a tough dude to fight. That's a 6'3" guy versus a 5'7" guy in Lord Assassin here. So I think Jourdain's gonna get this done. He's never been knocked out. And Gene Silva's main thing is his power. So yeah, give me Jourdain. But the thing is, who does the UFC want to promote more? Probably Gene Silva, because Jourdain's been here a little while. He hasn't really garnered a big fan base or anything like that. And Gene Silva is that hot prospect coming in and potentially being able to do something more than Jourdain could. I don't think that Silva ever fights for a title or anything like that, but he's probably going to be another middle of the road type fighter like Jourdain. It's just who do they want to promote? I do find it interesting as well that Jourdain is ranked 33 on Tapology. Alex, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Jourdain. Um, Probably a decision. I think a tough fought decision, potentially a split. But yeah, Jourdain decision. Um, yeah, interesting matchup. Now, this is back to me, huh? Cub Swanson, Andre Fili. Interesting fight too. I hate saying interesting so much, but this is just one of these ones where I gotta go with dog, dude. I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat. I'm going with the dog because Andre Fili is round one or bust, in my opinion. Everyone's gonna say Cub Swanson's washed. Everyone's gonna say like Cub Swanson doesn't have anything left anymore. He's not who he used to be. It's funny, dude, looking at him and his kids in the road or not the fucking embedded. Like they all just look like a bunch of nerds, dude. They all have glasses. Like his kids are young as fuck and they have glasses. Like they all just look like him and he looks like a nerd right now. But he's a badass dude. And I like him a lot. I think that he kind of got a robbery win in his last fight against the Canadian. Um, but Andre Fili, man, if this dude doesn't knock Cub Swanson out in round one, I think he's cooked. He's fucking chinny, man. Andre Fili's chin is bad. And I think fighting 4 months ago, getting knocked out brutally by Dan Ige, that's not enough time to recover when you're already chinny in the first place. And I think Cub Swanson could just kind of rock him. I don't think he finishes him, especially with these new gloves. I'm still leaning into that conspiracy that these gloves aren't as damaging as the old ones are. But yeah, give me Cub Swanson decision over Andre Fili, who's going to get tired as fuck. I could also see a round three knockout, but I'm going decision Cub Swanson. Jared, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that pick at all. I am on the Fili side. You know, Fili, dude has he's 34 and he has 22 UFC fights. He's had a lot of good experience. You know, he's been in there with some high level dudes. He's just kind of had a hard time stringing wins together. That every time he starts to get a little bit of momentum, he gets knocked out, and it's like he just hasn't been able to really string wins together to break into the rankings or break into that next level. But I mean, of course, the biggest concern with him has to be the chin. But I think he has fast hands. He's got good kicks. He's got good scrambles. I really don't think he's particularly bad at anything. He's just had a lot of tough fights, and he might have a little bit of a speed advantage here against Cub Swanson being 40, and that 40 man, that 40 years old is a true 40 because that dude has a lot of miles on him. He's
Yeah.
taken quite a good amount of damage over that career. But he's a pretty well-rounded guy himself. He definitely prefers things on the feet. So does Fili. But in a fight like this against Fili, Cub Swanson's he's got to be all the way in or all the way out. He can't hang out in that middle kicking range with Fili because it's shown recently that Cub he's been struggling with the kicks, the low kicks or the kicks to the body. He's just been kind of struggling with that. I don't know if the durability is really just taking a drop off with his age, but if you look at guys Cub Swanson is losing to, he really is only losing to very high level guys.
Mhm.
I don't consider Fili a very high level guy. It's a tough pick, but I'm going to be on the Fili side. I think it's going to be a hard fought fight for both of them. I think it goes long. I know Cub Swanson has spent some time at Team Alpha Male. Fili's been at Alpha Male for the majority of his career, so I think the fight goes long. I'm going to say Fili wins a decision here, but yeah, I don't hate you for the Cub Swanson pick.
Yeah, it is worrisome because he did fight you not too long ago here in Bill Algeo. That's
Yeah,
your who do people say you look like other than Bill Algeo?
Jack Shore.
Nah, dude. Jack Shore's a fucking ginger. You want to be Bill Algeo, dude. Look at this dude. That's Jared right there.
Bro,
Straight up.
I'm a day walker though. Might
Oh,
not
you're
be full
pale?
ginger, but I'm a day walker.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, it's the summertime. I'm working outside a lot, so I'm not so pale right now.
all right. So you got Fili by decision. I respect it. I will disagree though. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Fili side here. I'm pretty confident on this pick actually. I think this is a bad matchup for Cub Swanson. He's fighting a well-rounded guy, and I think Fili has some good finishing ability. You are right about the knockout 4 months ago. That is a bad look, and I think the opposite of what you said about Fili. I think Swanson's the guy who's round one or bust here. I think as the
Ooh.
longer the fight goes, Fili's going to be doing more damage. and I think he's gonna get some takedowns in round two and get a ground and pound victory.
Both guys alternating wins and losses, and if you're going to follow that pattern, Fili is due for the win here.
Yeah, check
So
that pattern out. Fili's never lost two in a row in the UFC.
you said sub in round two,
No, KO round two.
KO round two. Um, you know, we did this
Get
bet.
fact checked, Alex. Got to fact check you real quick. Fili's never lost two in a row in the
Uh-oh.
UFC. He sure as hell did.
Ooh.
Are you not gonna count the
The no contest in between those two losses.
that
A
was
no
a definite
contest. A no
win. That was a
contest would mean,
definite win for him though, if you watch it back.
but a no contest, right? It's a no contest, so we'll act
No,
like
but
the
technically it
contest
would have
never
been a
happened.
win. It would have been a win.
I'm not talking about what it would have been. I'm talking about what it says.
If you count that as
Get
a win,
fact checked.
then
Just accept it.
not fact check. There's a no contest in between the loss that would have been a definite
Yes,
win.
but a no contest isn't on his record.
Okay, well then, so last week, Jared and I, Alex, we did the mustache bet. We had to shave the mustache, whoever won. How about if Andre Fili loses, you have to get that gas lamp tattooed on your throat. And if
Hope you're ready to pay for that thing, dude.
imagine that, man. You go like it's a mustache versus a fucking tattoo on the throat.
All of a sudden you're a Streetlight Manifesto fan.
Yeah, no, just kidding. Okay, so Jared, this is your fight, our favorite fighter. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but Joe Pyfer had a hard childhood. So, Joe Pyfer is taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Joe Pyfer, tough childhood, man. He really struggles to just get past it. And every day he fights just to say fuck you to his dad. And I mean, no one's had a harder life than Joe Pyfer. So I'm curious what you think. Jared's starting off here between Joe Pyfer and Power Bar Marc-Andre Barriault.
Yeah, I'm completely on Joe Pyfer here. I'm not sure if you guys have heard this, but Joe Pyfer actually had a really hard childhood. So something to keep in mind here. But yeah, dude, I'm all on Pyfer here, man. He's got good boxing, heavy hands, solid grappling coming out of that Renzo gym in Philly. His last fight against Hermanson, though, the two biggest takeaways from that, he definitely has a cardio issue. And I thought even before that fight, he sucks at checking kicks. But he's getting a much, much more softer matchup here than Jack Hermanson. That was a big step up for him and didn't work out. Taking a little bit of a step back here. I think this is an easy fight for him. Um, the power bar, this guy is a 50-50 fighter. He seems to win the fights that he's supposed to win, and then every time he has a slight step up in competition, he loses. Um, he's a guy that I just think he just really just walks forward, throws as hard as he can, and hopes for the best. In my opinion, he's just not good. The dude's sloppy, and he's really, really hittable. Um, I think this is a layup for Pyfer. Pyfer round one knockout.
Alex, what do you got?
I think the fight will be a little bit close, just depending on what Pyfer's game plan is. Because he should 100% come in here and grapple. This fight's going to be pretty close if he wants to strike with Barriault. Barriault's been looking good lately, to be honest. Looks like he's been improving, especially on the feet. Watching that fight back with Curtis, I bet Curtis in that fight, and I was sweating a little bit because it was close fight still. So I'm gonna trust Pyfer's been improving. I don't like that line movement. It went from like minus 260 to minus 320, 340 right now. So Pyfer's line's getting steamed. But I'm gonna try to go for the Hail Mary prop here. I think Pyfer gets his first decision win. I think he just mixes it up a lot, and Barriault just survives. I think the only way he gets a finish here is by sub, which would be, possibly a secondary pick. But I think it's sub or decision here. I don't really see him putting the lights out on Barriault.
Okay.
So I'll go, yeah, Pyfer by decision. Probably pays good.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad bet at all. I have the same side as you guys, but I think that this does last a little bit longer. I'm a little bit in the middle of where Alex and Jared are here. I think this gets to round two, And I think I see a knockout coming in round two for the man with the hardest childhood out of anyone to ever live. So next up, Alex, you're taking what I think is probably the funnest fight of the night, man. I think this Ian Machado Garry, let's just call him Ian Garry, okay? Ian Garry versus MVP. I think this is such a good, fun fight, man. And I hope that Ian Garry doesn't fucking make it boring like he wants to. If he is actually truly vegan, this could be a problem for him because I heard that that's why he looked so bad against Jeff Neal in his last fight. I heard that from multiple sources, on the ground sources in Ireland and Brazil, and they said that this dude is vegan. So I don't know. That can be bad for a kind of a bigger dude with thicker bones and stuff like that. These dudes with little bird bones, they can be vegan and not really have any problems. But you saw Cam Newton, he went vegan, and Cam Newton's a big fucking dude, and that's when he started having all of his health problems. Whereas someone like Tom Brady, who's a big guy but not as big as Cam Newton, he is able to just like completely thrive and be the greatest of all time. Um, I think Ian Machado Garry is one of these kind of bigger guys that struggles with being vegan. So, what do you think between Ian Garry and MVP, Alex?
I wouldn't be worried about the vegan thing as long as he's taking his supplements, his B12s. It shouldn't matter if he's not eating meat. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be putting too much stock into that because he's looked good recently because he's been still winning. I think the public's bias here. I think a lot of people like Paige. We're all rooting for him with our heart, but our wallets and our brains got to bet on Ian Garry here. You know, I like him in this position. He was just set up to fight Colby Covington. So what do you think he's been doing all camp? He's been wrestling, and I think if he comes in here and he's smart, which I know he is, he's gonna come in here and he's gonna wrestle Michael Page, and he's gonna get his first submission win in the UFC.
Okay.
So that's what I see happening. I think he has a clear path to victory. If he sits on the feet, he could easily get clipped. Like he had that Patty complex for a couple fights where he's getting clipped in round one. You know, I could see that happen. And MVP might not be one of those guys to let that slip away out of his hands. So I am worried about him not wrestling because if he stands with MVP, although he's gonna have the volume advantage, it's just I worry that MVP is gonna have a lot of those shocking moments for the crowd. So you know I don't want this to go to the judges, or else I don't even want anything to do with it. But I like Garry by sub. I'll pay. Round one.
Okay. Before I give my pick, I want a genuine, honest answer, Alex. You thought that Garry looked good against Jeff Neal?
I mean, of course not, but who looked great against Jeff Neal? It's hard to look good against Jeff Neal. He's scared.
I know, but you said he looked good in his last couple fights. You think he looked good against Neil fucking Magny?
Yeah, he leg kicked the shit out of him. Took him down a couple times. Showed a little bit different game plan. Could
Okay.
have got a finish. Played with his food the whole time. Daniel Rodriguez was very impressive. Who first guy to
Yeah.
finish him? Like,
Looked
come on.
great there.
Yeah,
Looked
all
really
right.
good there.
He's
Kenan
unpredictable.
Song didn't look good there. Even though he got the knockout, he got fucking rocked. Um, and Gabe Green, I don't think that was a good win either. So I'm with you, dude. A lot of people don't like Ian Garry because of his outside of the fucking octagon stuff, which I don't give a fuck about. Like if you're trying to make money on someone, who cares if this dude's a cuck or whatever? I really couldn't care less. And the only reason I bring up the vegan stuff is because it could have a problem if it's a new thing for him. And it sounds like it's a fairly new thing for him because his, wife is telling him to do this. This is the theory. I'm not saying this is a fact. Um, I think that also this is a buy high spot for MVP, meaning like this might be a bad look to buy in on MVP. Garry definitely has more ways to win, but if he does strike for any amount of time with MVP, he's going to lose because the way that Garry likes to strike is from the outside. The way that you beat MVP is fighting him like Mike Perry did, which is just be a fucking asshole and just get inside the pocket and just go punch for punch with him. That's how you beat somebody like MVP. MVP wants to dance around, look cool. tap from the outside, almost kind of point fight and do it in a cool fashion. And that's kind of what Garry does as well. So if it's standing and if you don't see Garry shoot a takedown within 2 minutes, because I think he's got to have MVP kind of biting on some stuff. Um, I kind of believe in MVP's takedown defense, and I think that he actually pulls this off here. And I think he knocks out Garry in probably round 2 or 3. So yeah, give me MVP knockout. I am on FanDuel. I'm going to play the 2 and 3, but yeah, give me MVP knockout round 2 against Garry, and he gives him his first loss. Man, either one of these guys can be skyrocketed towards the title, but the difference is that Garry, like Ian Garry called out Colby Covington, and his reason he did it in the octagon. He was like, Colby Covington hasn't won any of his last 3 fights. I want to fight him next. That's not a good call out. Who the fuck wants, like, who thinks like that? Like, this dude is on a losing streak, so I want to fight him. That's whack. You know what I mean? And MVP will fight anyone, anywhere, I think. I think that Ian Garry could get a title offering right now and he would turn it down because I'm not ready. It's not part of my plan. So yeah, give me MVP. I think he's the fighter here. Ian Garry is like the businessman, and he's a Conor McGregor wannabe, and he's just not that yet. He could be, but he's not yet. Give me MVP knockout round 2. Jared, what do you got, dude?
I mean, yeah, you guys both brought up real good points for both sides, but I'm 100% on the Garry side here. It's actually a pretty high confidence pick for me. I mean, this is a great striking matchup. I love the matchmaking here. You know, MVP's got that style that it's very unique. You know, it irritates a lot of the people that he fights. They can't figure him out. They can't get a read on him. You know, he'll be 6 feet away from you and he closes that distance so quick. But you know, the main issue I got with Page is it's the volume. He's not high volume. When he does make those big explosive movements, he is very accurate. He does, you know, get a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd because the dude's entertaining, you know, and those big explosive movements, but he's landed 1 or 2 at a time when he does those. I think Ian Gary's a much more technical striker and he has a lot higher volume. And, you know, being out of shootbox now, you know, he might come in here and show some skills that we haven't seen him show before with, you know, maybe implement some grappling. Wouldn't be a bad idea against a guy like Michael Page. Um, but as long as they're on the feet, I don't think it's one sided at all. I think volume is everything for Garry in this fight. If it's going to be one sided on the feet, I would think it goes more Gary's way because the volume is going to be everything here. You know, Page likes to play that outside game. I think as frustrating as Page is, I think Garry can find ways to frustrate him too because both these guys are hard to find in there. They neither of them really get hit a ton, but you know, I always think about Douglas Lima versus MVP, and MVP got fucking chinned in that fight, and you know, and he was doing the same shit where fucking, you know, he's dancing around on the outside. Douglas Lima played the striking game with him for a bit, and then, you know, he was shooting takedowns to get big reactions out of him. Once he got that big reaction, he was able to clip him when he wasn't on his feet to make that exit. So it's a really good fight. It could play out close, you know, with those big oohs and ahs moments from MVP, but I'm very confident in Ian Garry here. But I think he gets this done. I'll say he gets it done by decision.
Decision for Garry. I like it. Yeah, if it goes the distance, Gary's probably gonna get it. Just so that they can keep that undefeated prospect, that shiny O. Who was the dude that MVP dented his forehead really bad with that knee? Remember?
Oh man, I forget his name, but that shit was fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's scary when that happens because that would be something that would deter someone from shooting in on MVP because I mean his timing and his like just the martial arts attitude of this dude is interesting and the way like he's a master of that game. Someone shooting in, dropping down, and then he just catches you with a flying knee. I mean, he can fuck you up like that. He shot. I've never seen that before, where it was like it looked like he got hit in the head with a pool ball, and his skull caved in. I mean, that dude's lucky he's fucking still alive, man. Um, so yeah, I just think that MVP has a lot of weapons. I actually was really on the fence when MVP fought Holland And I was like, yeah, the level of competition, blah blah blah. Now I think that Ian Garry beats Kevin Holland in a similar fashion. I don't think he finishes him, but I think that he just styles on him. It's probably a lot more boring. It's probably a lot more like cage leaning and knees to the thigh and shit like that. But you guys both alluded to it. Gary's very smart. That's why I said he's a businessman. So I think we all kind of alluded to that. But yeah, I think Paige is just kind of the more freak athlete. And I don't know if you last thing I'll say on this, I don't know if you guys saw on the embedded where he's doing that oxygen therapy that I've never seen anyone else do. I don't know if that's unique or what, but he's doing like this stuff where it basically like kind of it almost ages you in reverse, like a little bit. Obviously, you're still gonna die, but this dude is his doctor, and this could be all for like TV and shit. But his doctor was saying, I've never seen anyone able to handle this. This guy's heart doesn't race when we deplete him of oxygen. He's able to keep it very calm. And this guy is basically not aging, is what his doctor said on embedded. Now, again, that could be all bullshit. That could be like a fucking fighter's media day interview or Brian Ortega putting tape over his mouth and saying that that centers him, right? It could be bullshit. But I thought it was interesting, and MVP doesn't seem as flashy of a person, even though he's got that flashy fighting style as somebody like Ian Garry or even Brian Ortega, who's kind of seems a little bit pretentious, we'll say. But let's move on to the next fight of the night. This is mine. Oh boy. The only dog turd on the main card. And it's not because it's a woman's fight. It's just because, this is not, I mean, who gives a fuck? MBS, Shatara, Myra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson.
MBS versus MGK.
Yeah. I mean, she does kind of look like MGK a little bit, right? Um, I'm not interested in this fight at all. I think it's pretty boring, but I think that this is a Myra Bueno Silva spot all day. I heard that she was sick when she was fighting Raquel Pennington, but she got her first opportunity for pay-per-view points ever, and she took it. And so she didn't even say she was sick. She still hasn't said that she was sick, but supposedly like somehow that leaked from her camp. And I thought that she was going to beat Raquel Pennington because she's great on the ground. Macy Chiasson's been evolving her wrestling game, and if she tries to take this to the ground, that's going to be a big no-no for her. And yeah, just give me Myra Bueno Silva. I think that she could get a submission, honestly. But let me just take the safe route and be a pussy here and take Myra Bueno Silva decision. But I think a sub is on the table for MBS. Alex, what do you think, man?
I gotta go with Myra as well. I think she's fought the better competition. I'm just worried about takedowns. I think Macy's come a long way as well. I'm just worried about her just, getting put on her back. But I think this is going to be a wrestling fight. I think Myra's going to have more volume. I think she's going to have better finishing capabilities as well with the BJJ. So I'm going to go with Myra. Hard to pick a prop here, but I'm going to go Myra decision here. I think she just outworks her, outpoints her, gets a little bit more control time. And yeah, maybe even goes to a split. But you won't see any of my money going anywhere near this fight.
I like it. What about the over? You interested in the over? No?
I'm not interested in the over. Um,
Because it could end, right? It could end if it goes to the ground with MBS.
I'm curious to see that line. I bet it's
Let me try and guess it. I haven't even seen it. Minus 230, minus 250.
minus 185 on the over 2.5, so it feels a little trappy. But
Hmm. I like that actually. Might fuck around, fuck around with that. Jared, what do you think, man?
Right when Alex says it feels trappy, Ryan falls into the trap. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That line's a little weird to me. I feel like that shit should be at least minus 250.
Well, it's
But
because Myra
you know
Bueno
what?
Silva's dangerous jujitsu.
She is, but you know what, dude? This is men or women. This is the weakest division in the UFC. So I really think anything can happen here. Uh, I mean, women's, bantamweight. I'm glad they got rid of women's featherweight, but I mean, women's bantamweight is, it's equally as bad.
You
Uh,
telling me that a division led by Raquel Pennington is the weakest in the UFC?
Man, like I said earlier, I don't like to judge someone off their last fight, but Myra Bueno Silva She could say she was sick or whatever excuse in the
She
world.
didn't say it.
I've had her in that fight and I felt so stupid. It was the biggest fight of her life and she's fucking ready to quit. I understand getting tired and gassing out, but I mean, she's legit laying on her back. She was done. And it was the biggest fight of her life fighting for a belt. And she's sitting there ready to fucking quit. I think she's kind of a bit of a head case too.
I think
You know,
she's dumb, to be honest. She supposedly has ADHD, which doesn't make you dumb, but you can kind of see it like in her face. She looks like she doesn't have Down syndrome, but it nicked her in the womb, like it swam right by her and then she came out
she
unscathed.
caught a stray, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, I didn't even, I know both these girls, but I didn't watch any fights back because I don't imagine myself betting anything on this. But I'll side with Machine Gun Kelly here. She's the
Oh,
bigger girl, and and I think she has much better striking. I think Myra Bueno Silva needs it on the ground, and if she doesn't get it on the ground, she might be getting pieced up on the feet. So, I don't know if I'm betting it. I probably won't, but yeah, I'll go MGK. Call it decision.
hey, not a bad call. Play some fucking Till I Die from MGK. What's your favorite MGK song?
Fucking, I don't have one other than the
Wild
Wild
Boy?
Boy. Yeah, it's pretty basic, but I don't think I can name another MGK song other than that one.
I mean, Till I Die is a great song. Alex, you got one that you like? MGK?
Call me Steve-O!
Yeah, Wild Boy. All
Yeah,
right.
can you
It's
name any
fair.
other ones, Alex? Because I can't.
Um,
The Eminem diss track.
it would
That was
take me a
pretty
Other
little.
good.
than that, that doesn't
Probably all of
count.
his
That I had that in my head.
Probably the only rap song I can name.
I mean,
Or
Till I Die is great. Till I Die is a great song. It's a song about Cleveland. It's pretty good.
All right,
All right.
check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. You never checked out Basketball Diaries. So.
Well, I'm
All right.
busy, and I've also given you several movie recommendations. I haven't missed. What'd you think about They Live, by the way?
I thought it was really good. I don't know. It was kind of goofy, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was cool. I like
Campy.
the. I did like how he could like kind of see through everything. Like I thought that was sick with the glasses on. Like how they just want you to consume all this shit and just think the way they want you to think. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, this is pretty sweet. But that fighting scene that fucking stole the whole movie. Like after the movie, all I could think about was how ridiculous that fight scene was.
Yeah, it outlasts a UFC main event. It's longer than 25 minutes. The my favorite thing in that is when he looks at the dollar bill and it looks like a dollar bill, and then he put the
Yeah, I said,
glasses
"What,
on.
you worship this or
Yeah,
something
this
like
is your
that?"
God, it says. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that's great, man, because a lot of people feel like that. Um, but yeah, next fight of the night here. This is yours to take, Jared. Anthony Smith, who on paper should be fighting fucking Alex Pereira this weekend, taking on Roman Dolidze. And this fight got switched up several times, as everyone knows. It was supposed to be, I mean, I saw this great meme and I have to reword it because it had the N word in it. But it said like they've completely like de-blackified this
There you
this
go.
featured fight. It was so funny because it used to be Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill, and then it went Jamal Hill or no, yeah, Jamal Hill versus
Olberg.
Olberg, and then Jamal Hill had to drop out, so it was Smith versus Olberg, and now it's Dolidze versus Smith. So they got rid of all the black people in that were supposed to be in this fight, and I just thought it was a funny meme. Don't cancel us, but it was a funny meme. Jared, what do you think of this fight? Lionheart versus the Caucasian.
I mean, real quick, can we just acknowledge that beautiful pick in Anthony Smith's last fight, hitting that round one submission? I mean, come on,
Sure,
that was a thing of beauty.
take a
But
lap.
oh yeah, I know. I'm surprised Alex didn't take a longer lap with Robert Whitaker, but he must be exhausted from posting all week about how smart he is.
Creating memes.
But yeah, dude, Dolidze, I mean, he's moving up from 185. Not really sure why. Maybe just because it's short notice, but he's a power puncher. The takedown defense isn't great, but he can create some scrambles. If he ends up on his back, the dude's active. He throws a lot of elbows from the back. He'll throw up sub attempts. Um, but usually when he's on the feet, he wants to be the aggressor. He just wants to kind of walk guys down, put them on the back foot, look for that big knockout. Anthony Smith, I think his best years are behind him. Obviously, he had that awesome sub his last fight, but I think it's right back to, he got that little sneaky win, but I think it's right back to getting knocked out. So if he has any hope in this fight, it's going to be through the ground. But I'm not going to overthink it. Maybe I'm underthinking it, but I'm just going to side with Dolidze, finds a knockout. And on paper, Anthony Smith wins, but realistically, I'll say Dolidze gets a knockout here. Round one. Why not?
Dolidze round one, huh?
Yeah. Actually, no, I'll go round two because I'm so confident.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, it is a weird fight. Alex, what do you think about this?
I'm on the same side, but I see a little bit of a different outcome. I see this fight being back and forth, and it's not often you see Smith have a bad first round. I think this is going to be similar to his Glover fight, where he comes out and he's battering Roman, and he just unleashes the gas tank, and he's not going to be there for round two. And I think Roman survives the storm from Smith. I think Smith's going to fall in love with his hands this fight. And yeah, I'm gonna go Dolidze round two KO. Double method bet wouldn't be bad to take, Smith sub, Dolidze KO. I am leaning no distance in this spot. And it is weird though. It's tough going with Roman because this fight really doesn't matter to him. He can lose, go right back down to 185, or he can just get placed into the top 15 of the division. So weird spot to be in, but I'm gonna go with Dolidze. I trust his durability.
You said Dolidze KO round what?
Round two.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy to me that you guys think that Dolidze is better on the feet versus on the ground. I mean, this dude's a fucking world champion jiu-jitsu
Yeah, but
fighter,
it
man.
don't matter. It don't matter if he's got one round of gas. I think Dolidze's got better cardio.
Dolidze has better cardio than Smith, you think? Because he
I think
gassed out in his last fight bad with Imavov,
in a 5 rounder, and he still
but he was
survived.
gassed
Showed
out
a
after
lot of
round
heart.
two.
Showed a lot of heart.
I don't know, man. I think he was gassed out
Still
after
getting
round two.
takedowns.
Yeah, I think that actually Dolidze. I think that he's better probably on the feet and on the ground. Just something about this man. I don't know. It's weird for me because of Anthony Smith and his weird ways. Like he wins fights that he's not supposed to win, and he loses fights that he is. You know, I don't know. He wins fights he's not supposed to win. He loses fights he's not supposed to lose. It's just a strange way that this dude fights. Um, I actually think that Anthony Smith could easily win this. Dolidze very short notice, moving up a weight. Um, Now, people are saying like Dolidze is smaller than Smith. It's 2 inches shorter. He's 2 inches shorter than this dude. He's a big guy. He's a big 185er. Smith is a big uh light heavyweight, but I don't know, man. I'm just gonna take the flyer here on Smith. I'm not super confident in it, but this is a weird fucking fight, and there's so much going on here. Actually, more people think that Smith is gonna win this on Tapology, but Dolidze has that KO upside. So I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge fan of Anthony Smith's career, but I am a big fan of him as a person. I think he's pretty cool. He honestly seems like if like one of us was like a high level mixed martial artist, how we would be. Like he's cool, he's chill, he like has fun still. He doesn't seem too dedicated to actually fighting. He was so dedicated to it when he was younger that he's still got some of those old tricks. I think Dolidze gas is quicker than Smith does in this because of the short notice. There is that round one danger for Dolidze, and I think it was Alex you saying that Smith never has a bad first round. If that's the case, yeah, give me Smith in this, and give me Smith by probably a decision, man. Interesting fight though, for sure, and I think all the shuffling just kind of favors Smith, and I think the UFC fucking wants Smith to win. Like crazy as that might sound. That does mean that Dolidze has 3 losses in a row. I don't think that they'll take this one too serious because it is up a weight class and short notice. He's kind of helping save a card here. But yeah, man, give me Smith decision. And I hate the pick, but just it's a vibes feel right now.
Hey,
So
well,
yeah.
on paper, you made the right pick.
Well, I am writing it on paper too. So I mean, here, right here, it's correct. You guys are both wrong. So
That's right.
we'll see how it goes. Yeah, interesting matchup though, man, and a fun one. Alex, this is a great fight on the main card as well. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes or Lopez. I've heard it both ways. Not fucking sure which one it is because he's Brazilian. So if this will open for me, here we go. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. What do you have, Alex?
I think I got a hot take here. I'm gonna go with the vet. I'm gonna go with the ranked guy, number 3 ranked, who's a dog. So I'm gonna go with the vet here. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's gonna have the better gas tank here, better resume, and he doesn't have the momentum, but he has a little momentum boost after that last fight. And I think he's gonna show Lopes that there's levels to this. I'm worried about the over under here. It's a tough spot. You know, you don't know how Diego's gonna hang with the BJJ of Ortega, but I think Ortega's gonna have a lot of control time because I think Lopes is just gonna throw up everything that he can. And I think that's a bad game plan against Ortega to even grapple him. I think Lopes should come in and just purely strike. That's his best opportunity. But I'm gonna go with the guy who I think is more vetted. I'm gonna go with Ortega. Hard to pick a prop. You know, I'm tempted to say you can sub him in the T-Mobile Center, but
That's
I'm,
nice.
I'm gonna go with a decision. Not super confident. It is 5 rounds. I could see Lopes getting tired from all that wrestling, and Ortega just eventually catches him in some. But yeah, I'll go with decision. I'm gonna say Lopes is very, very tough. And they obviously are going to have a war. This is going to be a banger because Ortega's going to give him opportunities on the feet as well. This is a scary one, but I like the dog odds on Ortega. I think the line should be flipped, and I think Ortega should be the favorite in this spot.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I want to hear what Jared, what you have because I think this fight merits some discussion. So we'll wait off until I go. But Jared, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm Alex said Lope, so just for being weird, I'll call it Lopez. But
Perfect.
yeah, I'm taking Diego Lopez here. I think this. I just think he's the real deal, and it's not super often I think that about prospects, but I really do think this dude's a real deal, and I think he's proven it in a very short amount of time. And I think the UFC sees it too. They're moving him up the rankings really fast. Now, a lot of the times when you see guys getting pushed up the rankings too fast, it tends to not work out. This is one of these ones where I think it works out because, I mean, Lopez's grappling's great. I think his striking sharp, and yeah, he's taken a real big step up in competition here. But I think Ortega is arguably the most beatable guy in the top 5. Uh, Ortega's inactive, or he's at least been inactive. He's been holding on to a top 5 rank for quite some time. Uh, of course, his jujitsu and his grappling skills, it's incredible. It's world class. I've never thought very highly of him on the feet. I think he gets hit a lot. He's very
Yeah.
hittable. Maybe I'm a little biased here because I'm not a fan of this guy. I think he's so far up his own ass. Every time he opens his mouth, I roll my eyes. So he has an opportunity to gatekeep here, but I think this is one of the ones where the gate doesn't get kept. I think he'll make one hell of a gatekeeper after this, but I think it's Diego Lopez's time, man. I think he's gonna break into the rankings here. He breaks into the top 5 after this fight. That sets up a nice rematch between him and Mosvar, the guy he lost to in his debut. I see the stars aligning for him. I think this dude's a real deal, and I'm just gonna ride with it. So I'll give Ortega some credit. He's not at the top of the division for no reason. He hasn't been there for no reason. So I will say Lopez can win a decision here.
Okay. Decision. Yeah, I accidentally already had Lopes marked down for you, Jared, and so all I had to fill in there was the decision. So stars aligned
Beautiful.
on that one too. Yeah, I think both you guys bring up good points. My thing right now is Ortega has been very inactive, right? Like I'll just tell you what side I'm on, and then I'll kind of give my case. I'm on the Lopes side. Um, Ortega's been very inactive, but then he goes out there and he fights Yair Rodriguez in an immediate rematch, as immediate as you can be. After he dislocated his shoulder, whatever the fuck he did. Um, in the embedded series, I think it was episode 1, where he goes out and he Brian Ortega's sitting there talking. He says, I saw Hunter Campbell and he gave me a compliment. He said, you look good. And I thought it was just a compliment. And I said, thanks. And the next day or whatever, he calls me and says, do you want to fight Diego Lopes? And he was like, I should have known better. It wasn't just a compliment. He wanted me to fight. The fact that he said I should have known better, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? I should
Like
have
already
known.
showing doubt.
Yeah, and they're they offered this dude a pile of money because they needed this was supposed to be Conor McGregor fighting. And I'm not a fan of Conor McGregor personally, but a lot of people are and casuals are, and this dude sells a fuckload of pay-per-views, and this was the most expensive UFC event in history to attend in person because of Conor McGregor. It wasn't because of Chandler, it wasn't because of fucking Jamal Hill, even though I like Jamal Hill, one of my favorites out there right now. It wasn't because of any of these guys. It was only because of McGregor. So they had to add this event in kind of last minute to get something cool. And it's the co-main event. It's not just like a featured fight. It's not just a random fight on the prelims or the main card. It's the co-main event. This is the second most important fight on this card. Is it the second most important fight on this card because of Brian Ortega? I would argue no. I think that it's the second most important fight on this card because of Diego Lopes, who is on fire right now. He's streaking. This dude just knocked out Sadiq Youssef, who hasn't been the same since he got sick, but
Oh, it
still.
is. I think it is a 3 round fight still.
Is it a 3 rounder? Like
Might only be a.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Uh,
3.
should be a 5 rounder. That really helps Lopes in this case, to be honest, too, because Ortega's a slow starter. He really is. Slow starter, loves to give up rounds and minutes, and yeah, that really does hurt his chances a lot not having those extra 2 rounds, in my opinion.
Where did you find that, Alex?
I'm on fightodds.io, but this
Okay.
is most accurate.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't see it anywhere, so I will take your word for it. And if that is the case, yeah, my confidence in Lopes just shot up because, like, look, dude, Brian Ortega, I mean, he got the shit kicked out of him against Yair Rodriguez until he won. Yair Rodriguez was so tired beating the fuck out of Brian Ortega, and I picked Brian Ortega in that last fight. I don't know. I know for a fact that Jared, you were on Yair. I forget where you were,
I
Alex.
fucking damn near threw up too.
I know. I almost threw up when this motherfucker rolled his ankle in the
I was on
warm-ups.
Ortega,
Okay, so
confidently too.
are you sure? Because I felt real fucking good about my Ortega pick after that.
Yeah, I was on Ortega.
But this motherfucker rolls his ankle, right? And so I'm feeling real bad about that. And then after we get out of round 1, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what happens. I'm not gonna feel worried about this if it gets out of round 1 with Lopes, personally. Um, I don't know, man. I just think I think that the stars are kind of aligning for Lopes, as Jared said there. And the fact that Ortega didn't seem like he wanted to take this fight. And it seems like the same way, anytime Hunter Campbell gets in the mix and he's getting people to take fights, like Aljamain Sterling taking that fight that he didn't want to take against O'Malley. Um, Maybe it's a narrative thing and maybe it's to dupe us into picking Lopes, but Lopes is always in shape because he's always training. I mean, this dude works at a Lobo gym. He's Grasso's jiu-jitsu coach. Um, Arguably the reason that Alexa Grasso is the fucking champion right now because she got that submission against Shevchenko, which no one saw coming. So, yeah, I think Lopes, whatever the fuck, is always training. I think he knew about this potentially before Ortega did because of my conspiracy brain. There was some stuff on Instagram of Lopes posting weeks and weeks and weeks out, like weeks before this fight was even announced, that he was showing his breakfast that he was eating, and it was like a piece of toast and coffee, right? Like light shit that he was eating. So he was like cutting weight. It seems like potentially before Ortega even knew about this. So yeah, man, I am very confident in Lopes in this spot. But I do think it goes to decision. He could get a late knockout just because Ortega's a punching bag. Um, but I think they go skill for skill on jiu-jitsu, and on the feet, it's Lopes all day. So yeah, give me Lopes, give me decision, especially if it's 3 rounds for sure. I like that. Went on a bit of a rant there, but it is what it is. Now, last fight of the night, main event. Um, I want to ask you guys some questions on this one because it's my turn to go supposedly, but I more have questions for you guys before I actually like settle on a pick because the easy pick here is Alex Pereira, right? Like it's just like a no-brainer kind of thing. But there's something about the whole story here where Alex Pereira is in Australia. It'd be so, I mean, what a fucking epic situation it would be if Yuri won this, if Yuri wins this fight, and then I mean, the first time that these guys face each other, it was short notice. Second time, it's short notice. What if the trilogy happens and it's all built up and crazy and it's a fucking spectacle? I mean, this could even happen it couldn't happen at the Sphere unless it was a quick finish, but I mean, it could happen by the end of the year or it could happen early next year and they could really build this thing up and it could be I mean, probably the coolest trilogy ever if Yuri ends up winning this because both these guys are kind of universally acknowledged as like the two craziest motherfuckers in the UFC, not just this division. These are like this is a boring fucking division, but these two guys make it so exciting. And it's such a wasted opportunity if Procházka loses this fight. I know it's not all necessarily scripted. I know it's not all necessarily scripted, but it could be. Um, Alex Pereira's out there, partying in Australia and having fun. I don't know if he drinks or not. I know he used to be an alcoholic, but I don't know if he drinks. I don't know if he's one of those guys that's disciplined enough to just like have some drinks. And he clearly wasn't eating right. He was out there having fun in Australia, and he gets the call very short notice. Yuri does seem like that dude that is always training. Like he seems like you can call him on short notice, and he's good to go. The only difference from last time is that Alex Pereira wasn't out partying in a different country. He was at home in Connecticut. So I'm curious, like, I'll just open it up to both you guys before we give our picks. Like, what side are you leaning towards? What do you find suspicious? What do you find like benefits one fighter or the other? What's interesting here to you? What's jumping off the page? Either one of you guys that wants to start, go for it.
Well, you said Yuri's probably training all the time. It's like, yeah, but what's that training consist of, right? Because I've seen this dude with a fucking Rubik's Cube hanging from a string and he's fucking moving his head around
Right.
it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, what's the quality of training we're talking about here?
Right.
Uh,
He's got the tism.
I, I see what you're saying with like a storyline, but it's like you got to kind of remember the UFC pulled this fight out of their ass. You know, with McGregor pulling out, they're fucking scrambling. They're just like, okay, who do people like, and who's a champion that we can put on the fucking main event? So I totally get what you're saying, but I don't buy too much into any kind of I'm not thinking too deep as far as a storyline or something along those lines here.
Okay. Do you think that they pulled it out of their ass though too for 300 because 300 was supposed to be McGregor as well?
Yeah. And Pereira's just that fucking reliable dude that they can hit up and they
Yeah.
know he's gonna fight well.
Okay. So yeah, not too invested in the story is Jared. What about you, Alex? What do you see here?
Well, I noticed a couple sports books have some weird Pereira lines up, like future fights. They have him lines with him against Jones and Aspinall. So that was like a
Mm.
red flag to me. I'm like, well, they obviously are seeing him move up to heavyweight after this fight, which is very strange.
They have
So,
talked about that in pretty mainstream too, though, right?
yes, so
Okay.
he might be going to become three division champ. And he could do it with the belt. I mean, the only guy waiting in line at light heavyweight after Yuri, if he gets through him, is Ankalaev, and they've screwed him over in the past. They won't have a problem making him wait while Pereira goes up. They'll just, book a couple fights, maybe give him an interim if he's lucky. So I do
Such a
want
good
to go with
point.
that trilogy theory. I do like that. I mean, the first fight I thought was hyped, and it did get a lot of good coverage and feedback. The second one should do good too. I'm just, I'm trying to find a spot here. I like one spot, and it's just to cut out the Pereira knockout, and it should be around plus 100 odds right there, and I Jared knows I like to go with this trend, but whenever there's a rematch, it typically doesn't happen with the same winner and prop. So I'm just gonna fade this prop that hit in the last fight, which is KO by Pereira, and they're giving me almost double my money on that. So, that's my advised pick. But wow, I'd be lying if I said my heart wasn't on Yuri to pull off the upset here. I think he does have a path to victory. He can get takedowns. He can mix it up. His pressure, if he just can mitigate damage, his pressure will win him minutes and rounds here. Pereira's not the best guy to win decisions.
Yeah.
If he can survive a couple storms here and there, I think Yuri can get it done. And I not my most confident play on the card, but
Well, listen, before you give your pick, Alex does have this weird, there's this word aura that's been used over and over again. I think it's a fucking stupid word to use, but he's got this energy to him that the judges, and I heard someone saying this, where the judges will let him kind of big brother him. Like Herb Dean should have been like, no, after that nut shot, you guys go to neutral corners. This is a title fight at UFC 300. We're not letting weird shit happen. You guys go to neutral corners and we'll start the fight again, right? Now, I'm not, this is obviously, as a Jamal Hill fan, that's not me just trying to say that, because I didn't think about that until someone said it. And then someone's like, yeah, they should have gone to neutral corners. That would make the most sense. They should have. It's UFC 3 fucking 100 and it's a title fight. So that would have made more sense. And if you watch that whole fight that they were having, Southpaw in Hill versus Pereira in Orthodox, the lead foot battle was being won by Hill constantly that entire fight. If you watch it back, it really was. But the time that it didn't happen, Alex was able to capitalize on that. So I'm not taking anything away from the dude. And it doesn't fucking matter if I was, because he still actually got it done. So it is just one of those things, man, where I think Alex has a weird fucking technique. He's got a weird technique. If you watch him shadow box, it looks sloppy. It looks weird. It doesn't look clean. It's not like he's throwing, instead of throwing straight punches, he's like going like this and like that. Like he's doing weird shit instead of just going straight. He's throwing a lot of hooks because those are his power shots. Um, I don't know, man. There's something weird about this, and that's why I wanted to just kind of talk about it before we gave our picks.
I gotta say, I totally disagree with the neutral corner thing
Okay.
in that instance, because Pereira is the one that got hit in the nuts. So like
Right.
if he reacted to it, then I can understand a separation. But he didn't even react to it. When Herb went to step in, he gave him the whole, nah, I got this. You know what I mean? Like
But that's that
I
big
could
brother. That's that big brothering where it's like, no, the ref is the one in charge.
but the how many times have we seen a nut shot where like a fighter's like, no, I'm good, and then they just let him continue fight. You want to leave the ref out of the fight as much as humanly possible.
sure, but with such an important fight, I guess the reason why I think the neutral corner thing would make sense is because, I mean, it would have been great if that main event would have lasted a little longer from a fan perspective, right? And from a business perspective for the UFC. Now, obviously, it's a fight, right? And we want these things to be
Sure.
as real as possible. So there is like a side for debate on both of those. But like you also see too with fucking when Alex Pereira fought Izzy the first time, like the way that he fought, and like the quickness that Mark Goddard ended that with, you know,
Yeah, that was bad.
he's gotten favorable calls in every one of his fights. That Jan Blachowicz fight, I still think that that's a draw to this day. I watched it a couple times. I really do think it's a draw. And if you go back and watch it and you disagree, that's cool. But I think I think it was the first round. I think that was a 10-8 round for Jan. I really do, because it was just dominant wrestling. And he was carrying out some damage, and then Alex won the last two because Jan was tired. But they called it still for what's his fucking name? Pereira. So the whole thing is like, I think if this does go the distance, unless they are trying to build that story, it probably goes to Alex. Because they just, I mean, dude, this guy is a cash cow. He is the new kind of McGregor figure. And especially since he's replaced McGregor once already and now twice. I mean, yeah, this is the new guy. So,
It's
I
pretty awesome. He can be a draw and not even speak English.
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like just by saying Chama and having a left hook, that's what
It's
this dude
crazy.
does. So, yeah, this dude's just pounding puss around the world right now too. He's probably got a great life right now. But I don't know, man. Let's get into our picks. I don't know if you guys had any last thoughts on it, but I'll go last. I was gonna go first just because it was my turn, but I'll let you guys go first and see what you guys got. I'm sure I'm gonna probably split a difference here. I kind of feel like you're on the Alex side, Jared, and I feel like Alex is on the Yuri side, but maybe prove me wrong. But let's see what's up. Alex, go ahead and go first, man.
Uh, I'll go Yuri decision. Not super confident. I wouldn't mind throwing like a Hail Mary flyer on Pereira by sub at plus 2,800. But yeah, definitely not a safe pick.
Okay, Jared.
Yep, you nailed it. Alex is on the Yuri side. I'm on the Pereira side. Um, I just think Yuri's he's a weird guy, and he has a weird style to
I
match
agree
that.
with you there.
I mean, the dude I will never get over that video of him with a fucking eye patch and a fucking Rubik's cube, and him like
Or
it's
looking
just
at that
very,
card with the different dots, right? Like,
yeah, he's just a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? But whatever, if it works for him, it works for him. The dude does hit hard, but he's very, very hittable. He keeps his hands low, his chin high, and there's really no head movement. The only head movement I ever seen out of him was when he was fighting, I think Volkan Uzdemir, and he was fucking trying to headbutt his punches. Uh,
jeez.
but that's the most head movement I've ever even seen out of this fucking guy. And he's got a super wide stance. He's super heavy on the lead leg, just begging for that lead leg to get chewed up. Alex Pereira, I've been calling him left hook Larry since the jump, but he's shown that he's more than the left hook. The dude, those kicks come fast, man. He doesn't show them at all. Most of his strikes, there's really no telegraph. He just, it almost looks awkward when you watch him, like if you watch training footage or something, but when he's in the fight, it's very fluent. It just kind of flows for him. And he has that touch of death, but Yuri's wide stance, I think those low kicks are going to add up. And I just think Pereira, he's fast, he's accurate, he's got that crazy power, and he just keeps getting better. And what I will say is, I've always said this since Pereira's coming to the UFC, give this man a fucking D1 wrestler, it's over. But we haven't gotten there yet. He keeps getting these guys that are willing to stand and strike with him. And I don't think this is any different. And even if Yuri does try to push the grappling, I don't see it working out over the course of 5 rounds. Uh, I just haven't seen anything to lead me to think that this is going to go any differently than their first fight. So I'm going to say Pereira knocks him out and quicker than he did last time. I'm going to say he gets him out of there in round one.
Okay. Yeah, he almost needs to, I think. I do think that Alex will fade a little bit. Yeah, man, I gotta take Yuri on this one. I'm not confident in it though either. But I think that he could get a finish. I think that when Alex loses, I think that he gets finished. And just like the way that dude, like when Izzy knocked him out, he needed oxygen to get back up. Like he was fucked up when he got knocked out by Israel Adesanya. Now, yeah, that was down when he was completely depleting himself of weight. But I mean, I think as hard as Izzy can hit at 185, I think that Yuri can hit that hard at 205. So I like the submission call. Did you say that, Alex? Do you say the submission for Alex?
Yeah, is not a bad flyer at plus 2,800. He almost hit it in the first fight, and
Yeah,
I think Yuri's definitely going to be grappling.
I love that.
He might have some opportunities here.
Yeah, I will have some action on the Alex Pereira sub, for sure. I think that that's just fun.
Can I
And
just
and
walk back into an Alex Pereira sub?
I'm just gonna have some action on it. But the side that I'm gonna take is Yuri by knockout, and I'll call it round three. I think that it's probably a grappling heavy fight because I think Yuri wants to probably do that. I think he stays safe. He might get in some sketchy positions. Um, but yeah, I would take like an Alex Pereira sub early because he's been working on it. He's a black belt now, don't you know, in fucking BJJ. No idea how. because he hasn't won any fucking thing with the sub. But yeah, man, I think that year he gets us to knockout round 3, and it feeds into a trilogy, potentially in Madison Square Garden late this year, or something early next year, man. But yeah, I think it'd be a cool story too. It'd just be kind of fun. And I'm not a Yuri fan by any means. I actually think he's fucking kind of weird and lame. Like there's got to be some cool Czech fighters, like Alex Pereira is all about Aztec warriors and stuff. Like he's all about like his native ancestors and shit like that. And Yuri is about fucking Japanese fighters, ancient Japanese fighters. Like there's got to be something that you could maybe more relate to, but he likes that culture and it's his fucking thing. But yeah, just a strange look for him. But yeah, I've always kind of doubted Alex Pereira and it hasn't worked out too well. So, it is what it is, but there's just something about him, man. I'm not a true believer. I think he's more entertaining for people than actually, I don't know, UFC highly, highly level. Because yeah, why haven't they given him wrestlers? Why don't they give him normal matchmaking? If the UFC didn't like this guy, they'd get him the fuck out of there. But they love him because he beat Izzy. And it's coincidentally working out perfect because everyone started hating Israel Adesanya because he likes to fuck dogs at the same time that this dude starts getting really popular. So maybe Izzy had something weird going on. I don't know. It just all worked out so strange. But fun fucking UFC 303. Let's give our last little picks and then get out of here. With this one it felt like it ran a little long, about 2 hours. What do you got, Jared? I know you got the 4-3 team or whatever, and a nice
Yep.
little
All
whale
right.
bet.
So the whale bet, we're sitting at plus 130. We're looking at Joe Pyfer, Ian Garry. Those are my two most confident picks on this card. So two of them, that's the whale, plus 130. Steamer, we're going four-teamer. Ricky Simone, Andre Fili, Diego Lopes, Alex Pereira is plus 500.
All right, plus
Not as
500.
not as juicy as we're used to, but I think we got a good chance of hitting both this week because I've been on
I'm
this
gonna
weird thing.
beat everyone on the juiciness this week. Let's go.
Yeah,
You
I've
got
been
plus.
on this weird thing. I missed the whale, I hit the steamer. I missed the steamer, I hit the whale. So I'm thinking I'm trying to get two birds stoned at once.
You said plus 500 on that last one.
Yes.
Okay. Alex, it sounds like you got something. What do you got?
I got one play for you currently. It's a juicy one. All right. We're getting greedy with part of Jared's whale bet.
I like it.
I want Ian Garry to win by submission to get his first sub in the UFC, plus 700. Might be around plus 750 depending on the book.
Okay.
I'll take that.
You're not crazy.
Yeah, that's not nuts. I've got my this new thing I'm doing, the rhino bet. It's like the whale, right?
It's like the
Um,
whale, but gay.
hey, rhinos are cool, dude. Rhinos are way
Whale, but
cooler than
it misses
fucking
on the last
whales.
leg.
Huh?
It's the whale, but it misses on the last leg.
Hey, the whale, dude, a whale bet for two fucking picks versus a fucking rhino bet with what was it, five? It was initially six picks, but the Shara fight fell through, so it was. Uh-oh.
Now, did the whale hit or did the rhino hit? Is the question here. Oh, that's
Hold
right.
on.
The whale hit. Oh yeah, technical difficulties. Right when I'm right. Yeah. See, Ryan starts pulling plugs out when he knows he's full of shit.
Follow Profit Picks. We crushed it last week. That Robert Whitaker knockout saved the night. Love to see it.
Might be needing Maz picks for the main event every week.
I know. I wonder who she got.
Yeah, you can't influence her either. You just got to fucking show her both guys and never
I'll tell
pick
you
one. But
one
you know
thing.
what? I know she likes the antenna though.
She's picked them before in the past.
Yeah, I know
I
she
have no
fucks with
idea
the
what happened there.
antenna.
No, so my last fucking rhino pick, as I call it, was six fights, and that shit would have hit if I would have canceled. Shara was the one that didn't fucking go through, right? That fight fell through because he was supposed to fight someone before
Oh yeah,
Tricoli.
yeah,
So they gave me a draw, so it ended up being five, and that was still nice. It was still heavy plus odds, plus like five something. This week, the rhino bet. I mean, it's as much as your whale, but it's a four-legger. And actually it's one of your guys. It's actually a couple of your guys here. I've got Ricky Simone. I've got Alex, our very own Alex. I've got Joe Pyfer, and I've got Diego Lopes.
He
And
means
that
Jillian Robertson for the viewers here.
yes. So Ricky Simone, Jillian Robertson, Joe Pyfer, and Diego Lopes. I
That's
am
pretty good.
yeah, that is plus 409. So yeah, I feel really good about that one. Didn't put a ton on it, even though it is the Rhino, but we put about a unit and a half. I usually like to do about 5 units on the Rhinos, but just a little trying to be a little frugal this week. So we'll
Sure.
see how it goes. Yeah, I got a birthday party for my sister's boyfriend's turning 21, so I got to get him a fucking gift. So I don't want to be like spending all kinds of money. If I end up hitting big, I will get him something nicer. But we're gonna go play pickleball. It's gonna be fun. But anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out?
That's it, man. You got the picks. And I think we're hitting both this week, Steamer and Will.
Ryan's looking good without the mustache. So you should just keep it like that.
Bro, I
No,
love it. I love it. Ryan,
we're
you're
not doing
beautiful.
that.
You're
We're not
beautiful.
doing
Stay
that.
like this.
I appreciate it, but no,
How's
I
the
feel like
wifey feel about that?
she thinks I look retarded. She thinks I look like an Amish person,
Dude,
which
you cleaned her seat. What's she mad about?
no.
Yeah.
That's gross, dude. Yeah, I always say that Alex looks like Jillian Robertson. I look like Shamil Gaziev with this fucking
Oh
look right
my
here, dude.
God.
I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm
That's
actually in
pretty
better
on
shape
point.
than Shamil Gaziev, but
I was about to say, congratulations. You played yourself.
yeah, no, I'm just making fun of myself a little here. But yeah, dude, fun episode. Excited for this UFC 303. And I mean, people make some good food out there, watch some good fights and enjoy them. And we'll talk to you next time. Make sure that you tune in, watch this shit on YouTube. Alex posts these things every week on Profit Picks. We post this if you listen on the podcast feed, you can get these linked and all this stuff. It's all in the show notes. Also follow T Picks and Profit Picks on Instagram. And we'll be back for like several weeks to come. Do you guys also want to maybe do we can include them in the episodes in August, the contender series, just fuck around a little
Yeah,
bit.
that'd be fun.
I always
Yeah,
have a good time with those. It's a 50-50 shot every fight. So always good. But yeah, we'll be back here next week. And like I said, for weeks to come without any breaks. So good luck on your bets, and we will talk soon.